Good evening and welcome to Sundays with Neelu. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for all your story responses. My prayers and best wishes to all of you. Coming to this week's story. This week's story's title is Shivaji Maharaj and Hira Tai. So once a school went for an excursion to Raigad Fort in Maharashtra. So all the students were going around the fort, and one of the students, Gauri, observed that there was a huge tower standing tall on one side of the fort. So she asked the teacher, "What is this tower?" And the teacher said that the name of that tower is Hira Buruz, and there's a great story behind it. So she started narrating the story, and students sat to listen to that story. So the teacher said that during Shivaji Maharaj's reign, there was a milkmaid who used to deliver milk at the fort, and she would come early in the morning and leave late in the evening. She would go around delivering milk all to all places and finally leave late. So one such day, while it was like almost dark, the milkmaid was about to go out. So as she was struggling to go out, the Mahadarwaza, which is the great door of the fort, was shut by the guards. So she said that, "Please don't shut the door. Let me go and then you can shut the door." They said, "No, it is time for the door to be shut. So we are shutting the door." She pleaded, she begged, said that she has a small child back home and she has to go and feed the child. So, but the guards were very strict. They said, "Rules are rules. We cannot open the Mahadarwaza. You have to stand, you have to wait here till next morning and then only you can go." So she kept crying, and the guards took pity on her, but they couldn't do anything because they had to follow the instructions, the rules. So then, after a while, they were busy, and she disappeared. So then they kept looking here and there, and then, like, after some time, like, everyone was asleep, and then next day morning, the guards woke up and they opened the Mahadarwaza, the great door. So when they opened it, outside was standing the milkmaid with her pails of milk. So they said, "You again? How did you get out of the fort?" There was no other way to get out of the fort. This was the only place. This was the only door to get out. Maybe you found some secret passage, which we didn't know. Maybe that is the enemy passage and you are one of them. So we must take you to the king and we must present you in front of Maharaj, front of Shivaji Maharaj. So they took her and they said that this is your culprit, Maharaj. She escaped from the fort last night, though the Mahadarwaza was closed. So to this, the milkmaid stood there guilty. But then when the Maharaj asked her, Shivaji Maharaj asked her, how did you escape from the fort? Because the darwaza was closed. No, the door was closed, but how did you go? So she said that, "No, I didn't go get out of that darwaza at all. I didn't go. The moment the guards closed the Mahadarwaza, I stood in the fort." So he said that, "Okay, but then you presented yourself outside the door. So how did you get out?" So then finally she disclosed the secret. She said that, "I climbed up that place." So he said, "That place?" Maharaj went there with the guards and saw that there was a steep rock there, which on one side of the fort, which the king left it on purpose because there was no need to build a wall there. The rock was so steep, the mountain rock, that they didn't need to build a wall there. No one could climb it. It was impossible. So then Shivaji Maharaj said, "You actually climbed that rock and you went there. Why did you take such a huge risk?" She said that, "I had to feed my child. If not my child, she's very little and she would be left alone at home and there's no one to look after her. So I climbed up the rock and I went down and I fed her and came back in the morning." So the Maharaj said that, "But this is impossible to climb." She said, "If you want, I can show you. See, there are on the bushes there was, drops of milk." She showed them. He said, "Yeah, it looks like you went out, but then I want a proof. Climb it again and show me." So he made her stand there and said, "Now you climb." So the milkmaid said, "I cannot climb it again." She was so scared. She stepped ahead and came back, and she was so scared to climb up that mountainous rock. So he said that, "Then how did you climb up last night?" She said, "I had to climb up because my daughter was all alone." So Maharaj understood mother's love and he left her. He believed, he trusted her and he left her. So then there was a huge tower built there instead of that rock because they thought it was not safe to leave it like that. And that tower, watchtower, even stands today in the name of Hira Buruz, because the milkmaid's name is Hira Tai. So they named it after her. So this was a story which I bumped into and found it interesting. And from this story, I felt that the most beautiful relationship between a mother and a child is beyond words. That is the most beautiful relationship, and it is beyond words. So this took me back to my childhood when I was in the middle school, and once I went to we went to visit one of my father's colleagues, and she was a very they were very close family friends. So we went to their house, we had dinner, and then it was time to leave. So my parents said, let's go. So I said, I want to stay with I want to stay with Malini auntie. So Malini auntie also said that there was no one at home, she and her husband. So they said, why don't you stay back? I said, yeah, I will stay back. So my parents said, you never stayed anywhere, are you okay? I said, no, no, I will stay. So my parents left, and everything was okay. And I was playing with them. I was talking to them. I ate. They gave me chocolates, this, that, and I had a lot of fun. But when it was 11:30 in the night, then I started getting scared. I started missing home. I started missing my parents, and then I started crying. I couldn't. I'm the kind of person who cannot, like, express and say that, like, I want to go now and I can't throw tantrums. So I kept crying quietly in one corner, and they were very scared. So they came and they asked me, what happened to you? I said, no, nothing happened. I'm just having a headache. I said, and I quietly kept crying in one corner of the sofa. So somehow they consoled me, and I slept there. And early morning they took me to my parents. So that was what I remembered, because children miss their parents and parents miss their children, and that's what I remembered when how Hira Tai climbed up any mountain, the steep mountain rock, and went to meet her daughter. So that is mutual. Even children miss their parents. So there ends the story. What you feel about the story, please let me know in the comment section. I will respond to all the comments related to the story. I'll see you again next Sunday, only on Sundays with Neelu with another new story. Till then, stay well. Bye.